guys, it's Dame Shumi of Yorkshire here, and welcome to Lesson World. I hear some of you saying, Dame of what? Dame who? Dame of where? When? How? Which? Yeah, I call myself Dame Shumi of Yorkshire, but I shall tell you in another video why I gave myself that name. Today's video is an interesting one. It's one that I think was well overdue. Why do I say well overdue? Well overdue because I call Britain home, and I've lived in the UK for more than 2 decades, and Britain is the country that I've lived the longest since I was born. So originally I was born in Zimbabwe, and then I moved to Britain as a teenager. So yeah, Dame Shumi of Yorkshire. And the longer of the story, or the extra bits of the story, will come in another video. If you do want to hear that story, please let me know in the comment section. So today's video is why I love the UK and why I think Britain is awesome and Britain is the best. So these are my points from my experience, from my observations. So let's go. I will just mention the points as they come to me. I have written some of the points in my little notebook in front. So if you do see me looking down, I'm looking at my notes. So the number one reason why I love the UK is 24/7 electricity. I know this sounds like, what? But yeah, I love the UK for 24/7 electricity. There is no time where electricity goes. If I decide to wake up at 3 a.m. and think, you know what, I'm going to do some ironing, I can do ironing. In some countries, they do not have that luxury. In some countries right now, especially in a variety, could I say variety? In various African countries, there's load shedding, and sometimes load shedding can be anything from 2 hours, 12 hours, 18 hours, and life is just a mess when electricity is not 24/7. When electricity goes, Wi-Fi goes, so you're not able to really go online. And in some countries that I've visited quite a number of countries over the years, and in some countries, generators are just the norm. You get into a neighborhood and it's just and you struggle to hear yourself think. But I'm grateful that the UK has got 24/7 electricity, and my activities during the day are not governed by when is the electricity, has electricity gone. So UK, thank you for that. The second reason why I love the UK is water, 24/7 water. And I mean water being there when you open the tap. And when you open the tap, you got the choice of either hot water or cold water. I tell you, it's a blessing. When you are in a situation where that is not the norm, that's when you'll be like, you know what? Britain is awesome. Britain is the best. Because if you have to first think, okay, I need to go to the well, I need to go to the borehole, or I need to go and buy water, you start feeling like I am surviving, like life really feels like it's a chore. But when you just get up and you go to the sink and you open the tap and hot or cold comes out, it's beautiful. It's a blessing, an absolute blessing. And if you're somebody like me who gets itchy, I get super itchy when I bath with cold water. If you are somebody like me, you really appreciate having hot water coming from the tap, because having to then look for firewood or charcoal to boil the water, that's another job again, another stress. And when you have to do that, you really feel like you are back to the Iron Ages, you're back under survival mode. The third reason why I love the UK or why I love Britain is free healthcare, our national health service. And I am grateful for the National Health Service. You don't have to stress about having money to go and see a GP, to go and see a consultant, to go and see a specialist. You just call and mention your problem, request for an appointment, and you'll get an appointment. I do understand that getting an appointment these days is not as what it was before, but I tell you, having a health service that's free for all is a blessing that we should count 100 times over. And having worked in the NHS as a nurse and a midwife, I really appreciate the NHS being there for each and every one of us. The other thing that's so important to me personally, which makes me value and love the UK, is good transport. And I mean comfortable buses, comfortable trains. I'm talking about public transport here. And I'm talking about transport that you can use on a daily basis. I'm not talking about aeroplanes. Could talk about that on another day. But basically our buses are well serviced, of a good standard. You won't get onto a bus and it's chugging away smoke and you feel as though any time from now the bus is just going to fall apart. No, things are maintained really to a good standard here. So we got good bus transport and we got good train transport. Could I say that? Yes. And our trains and buses are predominantly on time. If your train is going to be leaving at 9:15, you better be there before 9:15, because 9:15, that train will be leaving the station. So yeah, I love our transport. I really appreciate it. You can depend on it 95% of the time. It's a blessing. I really should say one of the culture shocks that I had when I moved to England was that a whole double-decker bus, I used to live in London then, a whole double-decker bus could actually leave the bus station and it only had 5 people. And I'm like, what? How can a bus leave when it's not full? Because growing up, I saw that buses don't leave a station when they are not full. They have to be full and full to the brim, to the rafters for them to leave a station. But Britain values time. I think that takes us to this next point. The culture of punctuality, timekeeping. The British are renowned for being good timekeepers. And that's one thing that I really appreciate. You can actually plan your day well, knowing that I'm going to be at such and such a place at 9. From there, I'm going to move to this place and I'll catch a bus at a certain time. From there, I'm meeting this person. I got this work appointment, this business appointment. Things are on time. So you actually know what you are doing. So you don't fritter your time away, waiting in queues, waiting for people to pitch up. As an African, you can't bring African time to the UK. No. It won't work for you. It won't work. The other thing which makes me think that Britain is awesome is there is no blatant corruption. Let me tell you, corruption is a canker, is a disease. It's a blight in so many countries. I'm not saying that Britain doesn't have corruption. I know corruption is. We do hear some stories on the news. But blatant corruption that you see every day in front of your eyes, no. People don't ask you for a little bit on the side just because they served you on time. People don't ask you for money so that they can look the other side. You don't meet policemen on the road and maybe your wiper is broken and they ask you for a little bit on the side so that they can give you a small fine. It's not like that. And it's so refreshing when you know that things are given to you by merit. You deserve things because you are the most qualified for that position. So I really love the transparency that's there, the fairness that's embedded in British culture. The other thing that I love smooth roads and smooth drives. Have you ever been on a road and the pothole is more like a pot lake or a pot dam? Yeah. And you feel sorry for your car, you feel sorry for your truck. And in some places, tarmacked roads don't exist. And it's just gravel, it's just dust. And you are shaken to the core when you're on those roads. You're just like, am I going to come out alive? I can confess that this has not been my experience since I moved to England in over 2 decades. Roads are predominantly good and well serviced. And if peradventure a road does develop a pothole, the Brits have got a good sense of humor. A couple of years back, there was a neighborhood where potholes were developing on some of the roads, and the people who lived there were getting a bit upset with the council that they were not being quick to repair the roads. So somebody actually dunked a bobby doll in the pothole, as if the bobby was having the swim of a life in the pothole, just to, you know, put in a bit of humor into a sad situation. So yeah, I love our roads. I love our motorways. I love our A roads, our B roads. I just love that our roads are good for our cars and we are safe in that way. It's something that we should note, that when roads are well maintained, the chances of heavy accidents on those roads and poor vehicles and cars or vehicles that break down quickly, the chances of those things happening are decreased. So we really should be grateful that our roads are well maintained. So kudos to the highways maintenance people, if that's what they're called. And what else do I love about the UK? Education, education, education. Is it Tony Blair who say that? Yeah, education. If you're somebody who loves education, the UK is your place. There are many pathways for you to get educated, and you can go to colleges, you can get apprenticeships, you can go to university, you can learn on the job. If education is your thing, the UK is your place. So I love the UK for that. And in terms of education, I really, 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 really love the fact that primary school education and secondary education is free. Free. Those are state-run schools. It's absolutely free. Growing up, I grew up in Zimbabwe, and soon after independence, I believe Zimbabweans were given free education. But I remember that by the time that I got into first grade or year one, it was not like that. My parents had to pay school fees all the way from nursery all the way to A levels to sixth form. And that was my story. So coming to the UK and seeing that education was for free, I was like, whoo, parents in the UK are really, 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 really blessed, because that's an expense that they don't have to worry about. The other reason why I love the UK and I think the UK is the best is because the UK is a multicultural country. UK is a blessing. It's a blessing. I don't think there's any nationality on this earth that you cannot meet in Britain. And cities are the most multicultural places in Britain. And I lived in London for a bit, so I can testify that the UK is a melting pot. Because of having lived in London and worked in the Southeast, I met people from different corners of the globe. I met people from Portugal, I met people from South Africa, Ghana, Nigeria, France, Spain, Singapore, the Philippines. If you work in healthcare, you know that there are quite a few Filipino nurses in the UK, and a lot of Indian doctors in our hospitals. So the UK really is a welcoming country. There are not a lot of countries that embrace people of different races, languages. The UK is a melting pot. So because of that, I love Nigerian food. I love Mexican food. I love food. I just love food. I just love food. And I'm willing to taste food from different countries and different, you know what I mean. And yeah, clothes, you get to know other people's clothes, attires, cultures, beliefs, just because you were in the UK. So UK is awesome because it's a melting pot. The other reason why I love the UK is because of the strength of the pound. The pound. I'm talking about the money. The pound is strong currency. So when you travel outside the UK and you've got your few pounds, when you do exchange them, you tend to get a bit more for your money, and it makes life easier, simpler, and you get access to more things. So I love Britain for its money. Sounds a bit but I'm not a woman, but yay, I love the pound. The other reason why I love the UK, I love the British countryside. Or maybe I could just say the British landscape, and I specifically mean the green, lush landscape. Just that, I was just trying to look through my window. When I look through my window, I look across hills, green, lush hills. Britain is beautiful. The hills are beautiful. The hills are alive. Oh, they're alive with the grass. They're alive with the green grass and the sheep. Britain has got beautiful countryside, and Britain has got great cities. If you're somebody who's into architecture, if you just go into industrial cities like Manchester, Liverpool, even London, you will see the great buildings that are there. You'll be looking up and you'll be like, wow, how did they build this? Did they say men don't have a sense of style? And then you hear that a man designed it and you're like, no, men do have a sense of style. So Britain has got beautiful cities. And another reason why I love the UK has got beautiful coastal town. Hey, here I'm thinking of Cornwall. I love Cornwall. I absolutely love Cornwall for its many coastal towns. It's just absolutely stunning. And yeah, beautiful coastal towns. Whether it's in Kent, you go to Kent. Whether you go down to Cornwall, whether you go down to Essex, whether you go down to Brighton, whether you go down to Bournemouth, Britain is just beautiful, 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 beautiful coastal towns. And if you love staycations and you haven't had a staycation in the UK, I would recommend you going to a coastal town and enjoy. But one thing I should say is that coastal towns vary. Some coastal towns are by sandy beaches, some are by rocky beaches. So do your research. Don't say I didn't tell you. And moving on to another point. I love the care of the environment, the culture of caring for the environment, and why I say that after talking about the beaches are clean. So there's a culture of keeping our beaches, our environment clean, and that even goes to our cities as well. Our rubbish is taken away regularly, weekly, fortnightly by the council. So there's a culture of keeping our cities, keeping our environments clean. And that's one reason why I love the UK. The UK is awesome for that. If those services were not there, we would be crying rivers. Another reason why I love the UK is freedom of speech. You really can say things here that you wouldn't get away with in other countries. And freedom of speech in terms of what you can say outside, and freedom of speech in terms of our journalism. In several countries around the world, you don't poke fun. You don't poke fun at the leadership. You don't poke fun at the government. You don't poke fun at how the president or the prime minister was dressed, or, you know, it doesn't happen. If you do that, it won't go well for you, and it probably won't go well for your family. But here, we got programs even on the telly like Mock the Week. People poke fun at the news, the politicians, and life continues. Life continues. And I think many countries across the world can take a page or two from the UK and how it runs its freedom. Yeah, freedom. It's good to be in a country where there is freedom. And another reason why I love the UK is open political discourse. And what I was thinking about here is, you know, when MPs sit in Parliament and debate, and, you know, when the House of Lords sit in as well and the debate, those things, you can see them on the telly. I put on the telly and I can see those programs. I can see what they are discussing, what bills are being discussed, what decisions have been made, and I love it. It's open democracy. You know what's going on in your country. You know what's being debated. And for this, UK is awesome. The other reason why I love the UK is that history is valued. History is documented. You know, you can travel somewhere and you can see a random building saying this building was built in 1864 and such a person lived there, and the building is well maintained, and maybe there's a little museum and museum there. Britain has got a culture of preservation, and that is absolutely beautiful to see. Britain values its history, whether it's history from 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 50 years ago, 200, 300 years ago. You get the gist, you get the picture. Britain is a country that values its history. It values its culture. And that makes Britain an awesome country. Another reason why I, Dame Shumi of Yorkshire, love Britain is the lovely summers. Summer in the UK is absolutely beautiful. Oh, I can't wait. Maybe I'm feeling a bit like sunshine. That's why I'm dressed in yellow. And almost got my hair yellow, but hey. Oh, I love summer. I feel alive in summer. It's beautiful. It's warm. People are outside. Barbecues. For those who don't know what barbecues are, if you come from Southern Africa, barbecues are what we call braais. Yeah, braais. when people put roast meat outside. I hope that makes sense. Yeah, people have barbecues, they're swimming, people are happy, people are dressed in colorful clothes. There is more activity outside. Summer is the best season for me. Oh, British summers are the best. And the ice cream man, when he comes and his van starts singing along, trust me, I still go out for ice cream. At this age, when I hear the ice cream van, I'm out. The other reason why I love the UK is the strength of the British passport. The British passport really is a blessing. It's a passport that allows you to travel to so many countries visa free, and it also allows you to travel to so many countries and get your visa on arrival without so much stress. A recent experience that I had, I traveled through Israel with my British passport, and without even asking for a visa or anything, I had a 3-month visa given to me without even asking for it, yet I was in transit. And I'm just like, wow. And the same thing happened when I went through Italy. I was given a visa, and I'm like, I don't need these visas. Try traveling on a different passport and you will understand what I'm talking about. So if you're British and you got a British passport, please do value your passport, maximize the chances and opportunities that having a British passport gives you. It gives you an opportunity to see the world, and not just to see the world, to impact the world. So yeah, the British passport is a bonus. One reason to love the UK. And if you are somebody who's into fashion, this is about point number 18, 19, somewhere there. If you're somebody who loves fashion, the UK is your city. If you love the latest trends, you can easily be on trend. You can be on trend. And it's a world that I've not explored really, and maybe actually I could explore it this year. It could be one thing that I could actually delve into this year and just develop a bit of fashion sense a bit more. We'll work on that. But yeah, London is a fashion capital. Great designers from the UK. Thinking of suits like menswear, Oswald Boateng. I'm thinking of the late Dame Vivienne Westwood. I'm thinking of Oxford Street in London, and you got your designer wear there. So London is a good fashion capital. And another reason why I love the UK is because the UK has got a shop for everybody. And I mean in terms of shops for those on low income, shops for those who are on middle income, and shops for those who got so much money to spend. You can shop in your Aldi's, in your Lidl's, in your Tesco, in your Sainsbury's, in your Waitrose, in your Harrods. If you want to go and get your cheese from Harrods, it's all up to you. It all depends on the strength of your pocket and what your priorities are. So there is a shop for everybody. And in that same vein, you can buy your designer wear in terms of clothes. You can buy your Pradas, your Gucci's, your Vivienne Westwood. But if you want to go and buy secondhand, go to a charity shop. I think in the UK, US, they call them thrift stores. Correct me if I'm wrong. You can go to your thrift stores. So there's a shop for everybody. The other reason why I love the UK is the benefit system. If you are unemployed, you can get unemployment benefits. And this is a system that's really, really good. It was set up for a good reason. And if you do find yourself in a position where you get unemployed, you will be thankful for the system. I never thought I would ever find myself being on benefits, but I've had 2 incidences in my life where I had to stop work because I was unwell and I had to sign on to benefits, and I was grateful that that system existed. So the UK is a great country. And another reason why I love the UK is the culture of tea. Is there anything that a cup of tea cannot sort? Is there? The UK is a tea drinking nation, and I've learned to love tea. I used to have 1 cup of tea a day, but I can tell you that now, over 2 decades later, I can have as much as 5 cups of tea. And to wrap it up, I love the UK because it's a country where there's freedom of worship. If you are Christian, you can worship the way you want to worship. If you are Hindu, you can worship the way you want to worship. If you are Sikh, you can worship the way you want to worship. If you are whatever you are, you can worship the way you want to worship. There's other reasons why I love the UK, but I think I need to keep my video this short. So if you like this type of content, do subscribe, click the like button, share, and add more points if you think I've left out some things. But hey, that's why the UK is awesome. And take care.